Hey, sweet listeners, you just tuned in to the NetSuite podcast. I'm your host, Kendall Fisher, and I am just so excited for this episode because we are talking about, drumroll please, SuiteWorld 2022. Yes, in just a few weeks here, we are returning to Las Vegas as well as OnAir for the best conference of the year, bar none. And to discuss everything you need to know about the event, who better to bring on than NetSuite's Senior Director of Global Events and the Queen of SuiteWorld herself, Laine Sobel. We'll start by covering the basics of SuiteWorld for those of you who may be new to the podcast or NetSuite in general, what it is and what our customers, prospects, partners, and attendees get out of the event, as well as what's new and exciting this year as we focus on helping businesses really leverage the full power of the suite to create greater automation, efficiency, and thus productivity. We'll dive into the content to come, keynotes, how to build your agenda, NetSuite TV, and of course, the party, which is headlined by Jesse James Decker and Nelly this year. It's going to be so fun. So all of that is coming up next, so make sure you stay tuned.
You're listening to the NetSuite podcast, where we discuss what's happening within NetSuite, why we're doing it, and where we're heading in the future. We'll dive into the details about the software and the people at NetSuite who are behind all the moving parts. We'll also feature customer growth stories, discussing the ups and downs of running a company and how one integrated system can help your business continue to scale.
Hi, Laine. Thank you so much for joining us once again on the NetSuite podcast. Now, I know I gave our listeners a brief introduction to you at the beginning of this episode, but let's take this a bit deeper. As I said, you are the Senior Director of Global Events here at NetSuite, but what does that actually entail?
Well, first, thanks, Kendall, for having me. I'm excited to be back. It has been a few years and lots has happened. So my role really is to work with our global marketing teams to execute our events. So I know, shocking that an events leader does events, but my team works with the North American sales teams predominantly, and we help execute events in North America, of course, SuiteWorld being one of our largest events. And then on top of that, we work with the regions and we help align their event strategy and also help them run their larger conferences. So what's really important is, one of the things we love about NetSuite is our brand and making sure that it's representative in everything that we do, including our events. And I feel really fortunate that my team gets to help be an extension of that and bring that to everybody in the world, both in person and virtually.
Yes. And actually, speaking of that, I mean, you've been working on global events with this team since what, 2015?
Yeah, 2015.
Wow. So like you said, you have traveled to all parts of the world to put on these events for our customers, partners, our whole network. I got to ask a little icebreaker for you. What is your favorite city to travel to, and what's your favorite thing to do there?
Well, I can tell you my favorite thing to do in any city is going to be shop.
Yes.
I think you've done that with me a few times.
Yeah, I was going to say, I knew that was going to be your answer.
It's serious business to me.
Yes.
Not as serious as some of our other coworkers who put together Excel spreadsheets of all the stores they're going to visit and what they're going to buy at each. But shopping is it's right up there with my favorite things to do anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
As far as my favorite city to travel, now, are we asking from a business perspective or from a leisure perspective?
Ooh, can I ask for both? What
Yeah.
your favorite for business and your favorite for leisure?
Sure. So my favorite for business, I don't want to hit the regions against each other, but I love going to Sydney.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to get to do a few events there, and we will have one coming up in the next fiscal year as well. And I love the people there and the energy. And frankly, I love the city and working with the vendors as well. So from a business perspective, I would definitely say Sydney. From a
And
personal
leisure.
perspective, yeah,
Yes.
leisure. I mean, God, there's still so many places left to go. I
Yeah.
will say I spend a lot of time, I'm fortunate enough to spend a lot of time in Maui,
Nice.
and I kind of consider it my second home now. So I don't know if that counts as leisure, but a day in Maui washes away all of your stress. I would say my favorite trip of all time, though, a few years back, I was able to go to Italy to celebrate one of my dear friends' weddings,
Wow.
and it was just one of the best places I've been. We traveled the country, and I'll never forget that.
Oh, that's awesome. Very, very cool. I love good too. Again, great places. I have not been to Italy yet, but Maui and Sydney both are definitely up there. Love that. And we know, of course, as you mentioned, one of your, I would say probably your favorite event of them all is SuiteWorld. It has to be, right?
It has to be.
Okay, good. Well, before we dive into kind of all of the crazy awesomeness that's going to come this year, as it comes every year and only continues to get better, I want to make sure I give our new listeners who've joined us recently some insight into what SuiteWorld is all about. So, can you do that for us? What is SuiteWorld? What is what purpose does it serve for our customers and for our entire NetSuite network?
Yeah, so I think a lot of companies plan their user conference, and people just assume that everybody knows what that is and what happens there. And maybe they don't. And I also think Sweet World is a little bit special, or actually not a little bit, a lot bit special. Sweet
Yes.
World is our annual user conference. So it is the largest gathering of the NetSuite community. And like you mentioned, customers, partners, prospective customers, employees, executives, media, everybody comes to Sweet World. But why, I think, is really the big question. And it is to share best practices. It is to hear from our executives what is new in the product and the platform, what new services we have. And it's a fantastic way to learn from your peers about how they're using the platform and some things that they're doing to really help you optimize your business. And I mean, it's just fun. Can
Yeah,
that
I was
be a
gonna
reason?
say, like, yeah, it's you and doing all of that in a really fun and exciting and engaging way. I think, obviously you running the whole thing. It's probably, not easy to be like, yeah, we kill it, we're great, but you guys really kill it. I mean, you think of everything. How do we do this in a way that's going to actually be fun and engaging and that makes people want to come? And you guys really nail it. So props to you and your team. And that actually segues kind of nicely into my next question, which I'm sure our listeners are asking right now. What goes into planning an event like this?
Yeah, I mean, whew, I could take hours to answer this question. I think what people might care to hear is every year we want to be better, and every year we want to bring more to our attendees. And that's more in terms of fun, but also more in terms of content and learning. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the main reason people come to Sweet World is to learn and to go back home and go back to work with actionable takeaways on how to optimize their business. And
Yeah.
so for your audience, for our audience here, I would say what goes into Sweet World is looking at what we've done in the past and how we can do that better, and then what can we bring to the table that we haven't before.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many new things that we're bringing to Sweet World this year based on our deep dive into what we've done in the past, and also based on feedback from our attendees. I know, we've had some customers who have attended for 8 years. We've had some customers attend every Sweet World,
Yeah.
and they come back for a reason. And it's because we're not just rinsing and repeating. We're
Yeah.
really improving year over year to create the best experience for our attendees
Yeah.
to bring back home.
Yeah. And And like in your time here, so you've been with NetSuite for 7 years. I don't know how many SuiteWorlds, like 6 SuiteWorlds.
I think five
uh,
and a half. Do we
wow.
count the year that never was, or that kind of
Oh,
was?
yeah. Well, yeah, because all the planning still went into that. So yeah, the 2020 year. Um,
Yeah, that's like the year you bake the cake and you put it in the oven, but you didn't turn the oven on.
right,
So
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I still count that because that's,
Okay.
that was still full-blown planning. So you've seen it transform quite a bit. How have you witnessed SuiteWorld really change over the years that you've been involved with that? What kind of transformation has it really taken on?
Yeah, I mean, from changing venues alone, right? My
Yeah,
first
right.
Sweet World was in San Jose, California. And to outgrow that venue and to get to be a part of the team to reimagine Sweet World in a brand new venue in Las Vegas, that was huge because it changes everything and opens up so many possibilities. To changing the content programming that we do, to last year, we added a fully virtual component to SuiteWorld. So this will be our second year doing SuiteWorld on air. And we're really excited from all the lessons we learned last year to bring that to the audience this year. I would also say, we've listened where everybody says they want more training, they want to learn more, and they want to network more. I would say 2 huge things happening this year. One, we have a space that's called the Learning Lab. And
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be run by our education services team. Those are the people who do all of the training. And so they'll be doing smaller hands-on workshop sessions, all geared towards interactive learning and engaging with our entire education services team. So those with LCS and those without LCS, that's the Learning Cloud support. You are going to get so much out of those folks.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, we're excited this year for the very first time to have a networking component to both our mobile app and our virtual platform. And that's going to allow attendees who are in person on the mobile app or attending on air virtually to find like-minded people. And so you can find somebody else in your industry on the app and chat with them and schedule a time to meet. And if you're on air, you can find somebody either attending virtually or in person and still get that connection with those like-minded individuals. And that tool will also recommend sessions and content based on other sessions that you attend and people that you engage with. So those are 2 huge ways that we've up-leveled the program this year.
I mean, those are 2 major additions to the programming this year, Laine, that the Learning Lab and the networking opportunity for our mobile and virtual audience. So kudos to you and your team for that. And then I also heard from Evan Goldberg himself about our theme at SuiteWorld this year, which is Full Suite Ahead. Can you tell us a bit about that, what it encompasses, and how we're showcasing that throughout SuiteWorld?
Yeah, I think for those who got a chance to see Evan's email, you can see how excited we are about our theme this year. And we have a theme every year. And that's important to us, not only because it helps kind of steer the direction of the content program that we develop, but also the look and the feel and the energy and the vibe and really what we want people to walk away feeling after SuiteWorld. And this year it's kind of that anthem, Full Suite Ahead. We want to help our attendees work smarter, not harder. And so the content is going to focus on helping our attendees and their businesses get the most out of NetSuite. We really pride ourselves on expanding the suite and the functionalities of the suite to help our customers navigate the challenges that are facing them right now, but also what's in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And so Full Suite Ahead, what does that mean? It's how do you leverage the full power of the suite and be more productive, more efficient, more profitable. So really that positive anthemic, like we're here to help you do better, do more. We're all Full Suite Ahead.
How did 6 out of the top 7 best performing tech stocks gain visibility and control over financials, inventory, planning, and budgeting with NetSuite by Oracle? Answers at netsuite.com/code. netsuite.com/code.
And, Laine, you had said you listened to our customers, you heard what they wanted. And I think taking advantage of the full suite is definitely something we hear all the time. I have the privilege and the honor of interviewing our customers a lot. And that is what they say all the time. I want to take advantage of more of the suite. So super exciting to hear that that's kind of what we're going to be really highlighting at SuiteWorld this year. And kind of like, speaking of big moments, can you give us some more insight into what's to come? You obviously talked about the learning lab and networking opportunities, but what else can our attendees expect from SuiteWorld 2022?
Yeah, I think some of the things that I'm excited about that maybe aren't new, but we have our second year of NetSuite TV hosted by, an amazing lady who does such a great job.
You know what? I appreciate you for shouting that out. I figured at some point we'd get to NetSuite TV, but yeah, I am so excited for year 2 of NetSuite TV. And just like you said, there's never at SuiteWorld, we follow your lead. We never rinse and repeat. And we will not be rinsing and repeating this year. It'll be a lot of new fun and excitement to come. But aside from NetSuite TV, I know again, that's one of my favorite moments, but what else can we expect?
Aside from NetSuite TV. Okay. Well, of course, there's the party, which we do on our final night. I am so excited, as I know you are. Nelly is going to be our headliner. We have Jesse James Decker. I mean, it's just going to be, that's why we call it the party now, because it's just going to be a great party.
Yeah.
And then I think as we look to content, there's a few key areas. I always love Gary's product keynote, talking about what's to come and all of those great demos of the new functionality. This year, we're bringing a new type of keynote called an innovation keynote. And we have 3 of those, one focusing on the future of finance and operations, one really diving into OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And we do have some great executives leading that session. And then thirdly, for our customers who are new-ish to NetSuite, this is a great session for those who, maybe have bought or implemented in the past year and want to know what's next. So we're really excited for the innovation keynotes. And then as we look towards Evan's opening keynote, we wanted to, again, try something different this year. And in the past, many can remember, or I think at most user conferences, you will see a celebrity or an entrepreneur being interviewed in a fireside chat. I think we're all pretty familiar with that concept. Yeah. And last year we did that with Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. NetSuite has a lot of Shark Tank alumni as customers, and we were thinking, how can we get our audience more engaged in the keynote? And so there will be a Shark Tank inspired pitch competition at SuiteWorld, featuring some great mentors / judges, and the audience themselves, whether they're watching in person or virtually, will be able to vote. So we're really excited for that to come together and to bring something new to that opening keynote.
Oh my gosh, that is such a good idea. That is so cool. I cannot wait for that. Do we know any, like, I mean, you can't spill the beans, can you? On like who's pitching, who's judging? Just have to wait and see, right?
Have to wait and see. But what I can say is we're not just going to do it the way Shark Tank does it. NetSuite is big on social impact. And we've talked about the NetSuite Accelerator program. You've had George on the podcast to talk about the Accelerator program, right?
Yep.
So we're working with George and his team, and this is actually going to be 2 potential NetSuite Accelerator customers pitching their company ideas. And so we're excited. They're these new startups, and they're not these big established companies. And we're really feel privileged to be able to showcase them and their organizations to our audience.
Well, that is Very cool. And again, so excited to hear them. For those of you who maybe are new listeners who have not tuned into the NetSuite Accelerator podcast, it is headed up by George Ploss. So that's who Laine was referencing. And the NetSuite Accelerator is really all about helping entrepreneurs and leaders from diverse communities build successful businesses. And who better to help them do that than us? We work with tens of thousands of companies all over the globe. So that is what the accelerator is all about. And I can't wait to see that conversation and those businesses at SuiteWorld. So Laine, with all of this, with these new innovation keynotes, with everything that's coming from the Learning Lab, from Full Suite Ahead, from all the content, what is your hope that attendees will take away from SuiteWorld 2022?
For me, my hope and my team's hope, and frankly our goal, is that our attendees are going to walk away from SuiteWorld knowing that NetSuite is going to be the right tool for them, the right system for them in whatever stage they are, and that it will evolve with them, and that the different components of the suite can be added as you continue to expand, whether that's going D2C, whether that's adding a new service or a new product. I think we want to reinforce through the content that we're providing, through the networking opportunities, that NetSuite is here to support you on your entrepreneur journey, on your organization's journey, and whatever growth looks like for you. We want to be there, and we will be there to support you through that.
Right. And even you mentioned this earlier, and I think this is a good point to hit on, but we know that maybe growth isn't what everybody's focused on right now, but like you said, that focus on improving the bottom line, productivity.
Right. Well, and that growth means different things to different people.
Exactly.
Right?
So true. Growth could
yeah.
mean in the literal, like adding more subsidiaries, growing into different regions, or growth could mean growth in your systems and your processes, adding more efficiency, greater automation. So I think that's really great and really important to note. And I definitely think our attendees will walk away with that. But for those folks who are tuning in, who are on the fence, maybe they haven't registered yet, can they still register? And if so, how?
Yes, I will say that SuiteWorld is filling up fast. We only have a few hundred spots left, which is very exciting.
Yes.
And for those who are interested in registering, all you have to do is go to netsuiteworld.com. There's about 70 buttons that say register now on that page. So I think it's pretty easy to complete that process.
Yes, pretty intuitive. And guess what? I will be providing a link in the description of this episode that goes directly to netsuiteworld.com. So all you got to do is click that and register.
I mean, could we make it any easier?
Exactly. That is our whole goal, right, Laine?
That's right.
For those who are already registered and attending in person, what do they need to know?
Great question. I think what's important to know is that Agenda Builder is live. And what that means is you can schedule your entire SuiteWorld experience from the moment you arrive until the moment you leave. So whether that's scheduling sessions, using that networking tool to find content that you might want to register for, getting prepared to download the mobile app when that comes out in a few weeks. I think what's really important is registering and setting up your content. We, of course, like we said, like to make it easy. So we automatically add the executive keynotes to everybody's agenda. But outside of that, there's so much great content, and our tool really makes it easy. I think it can be overwhelming to figure out what to do. And so the tool makes it really easy for you to filter down pretty specifically on topics to find the right content for you. And of course, our sales managers and our account executives are all able to help you build the perfect agenda based on your interests as well.
And for those who will be attending virtually, for those attending SuiteWorld on air, any advice on getting set up and situated for them?
I'd say the same thing in that you can pre-schedule your sessions for on air. We have our Suite Guru one-on-one sessions, which are one of our most popular things at SuiteWorld, where you can get support on your instance of SuiteWorld in specific topics. You can schedule meetings with folks. You can look at the agenda and really, again, decide what you want to do when. And of course, make sure you can watch NetSuite TV, because that's one of the best parts about on air, is really getting to feel like you're in person through Kendall.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because I was going to suggest make sure you catch NetSuite TV. That is our whole goal for NetSuite TV, is to bring the excitement of SuiteWorld and the expo floor and everything happening right to you wherever you're tuning in from. So make sure you catch that. And Laine, I cannot believe it, but we are already to our last question. Why are you particularly excited for this year's SuiteWorld? What are you looking forward to the most?
I truly look forward to everything. I feel like that's a cop-out answer, but what am I looking forward to most? I think this is the answer I gave last time when we did this a few years ago.
That's
but
okay.
My favorite thing to do at SuiteWorld is to like stand in a corner and watch people having fun. Sounds a little creepy, but and my team, we work so hard to make the best experience that we can. I mean, down to where we put cups for water. We try to think about everything. And just finding those quiet moments to stand there and to take it in and watch people enjoying what you pour your heart and your soul into. I don't think there's anything better.
Yeah.
There's content moments I'm looking forward to, speakers I'm looking forward to, people I'm looking forward to seeing that I haven't seen in years. And I think seeing people enjoy it, but I also watching my team enjoy it. The great news is my whole team did the event last year, and they get to come back and do it again this year.
Yeah.
And it takes so many people to pull off an event like this, whether it's our events team at NetSuite or all the partners and vendors that we work with. Watching them enjoy what they've worked so hard for over the past year, I think as a leader is also fills up your cup, right?
Yeah, it's huge. Well, that's amazing. And I mean, I am so excited for everything.
Well,
I think
what are you looking forward to most, Kendall?
Well, I mean,
outside of NetSuite TV.
I was gonna say, it's talking about pouring your heart and soul into something that is definitely something. NetSuite TV is something that I lovingly spend so much of my time this time of year on, and same thing, pour my heart and soul into making sure it's bringing our virtual audience everything they could ever want or need. So if you have suggestions, you're listening in right now and you want something, make sure you drop that and drop a note to us. But aside from NetSuite TV, I gotta be honest. Okay.
I know what you're gonna say.
I know. It's Nelly. Nelly was like my second crush ever. I know basically every lyric to every song. And he was one of my first interviews when I was in entertainment. I actually interviewed Nelly for a music magazine that I worked for at the start of my career. And so it's like really cool to see this come full circle into my world here at NetSuite.
An amazing full circle moment. Yeah, I'm gonna pull a Kendall. I love that.
I'm excited. So Nelly is probably my favorite. I'm really excited for the party. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Well, Laine, thank you so much. Again, just very excited I'm always excited for SuiteWorld, and every year that excitement grows. And so it's again grown this year. And thank you for sharing your insight. And again, I will pack all of those links into the description of this episode to make sure anybody who hasn't yet can register, to make sure they can check out some SuiteWorld moments of years past. If you're still on the fence, we want you there. So Laine, thank you. And we will talk soon.
Thank you. And if you're still on the fence, write me an email and I'll convince you why you need to come to SuiteWorld. How's that?
There you have it. Mic drop. Well, it's safe to say another incredible SuiteWorld is on the way. I am counting down the minutes. And if you haven't registered yet, you definitely want to, whether it's in person or on air. So I've left a link to register in the description of this episode. Thank you so much to Laine Sobel for all the insight and all the hard work she and her team put into this awesome event. I also want to shout out to our editing crew over at Lampstand and, of course, all of you for tuning in. As always, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe, please. And we will see you at SuiteWorld 2022.
You just listened to the NetSuite podcast. Be sure to tune in every week with more NetSuite developments, stories, and insights into the benefits of one integrated system to help you run your business.